crafters, welcome back to part 2 of the crochet tank top series. I hope y'all are excited to get into it. Today we're going to learn how to crochet rows 1 through 10 of this project. And as I mentioned in the overview video, which if you haven't seen that yet, be sure to check it out because I cover all the materials on that video. But as I mentioned in that video, hopefully when my blog gets back up, I will put this pattern written up on there so you will have that as an additional resource at some point in the future. All right, let's start crocheting. So I'm going to start by making a slip knot and putting it on my hook. And we're going to work in the round, so I'm going to chain 4 and slip stitch in my first chain to form a ring. So this is 1, this is chain number 2, 3, and 4 chains. And I would recommend that you do a chain 4 and not a magic ring for this project, simply because we need the center to stretch a little bit bigger than normal, because we are going to add a few extra stitches in here than we typically do when working in the round. So I'm going to go back to my very first chain, insert my hook, and then yarn over and pull through everything to slip stitch the ring together. So for round 1, I'm going to start by chaining 1. And then in this little ring that we just made, I'm going to work 8 single crochet stitches. So inserting through the ring, and then I also like to wrap this tail end around so I can get it out of the way and work around it. But I'm going to work my first single crochet stitch, and then a second single crochet into the ring, a third single crochet, and I'm going to repeat this until I have a total of 8 single crochet in the ring. That's 4. This is 5, this is single crochet number 6, single crochet 7, and single crochet number 8, which is our last one. So to finish this round, I'm going to count back to my very first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's my first stitch, and I'm going to insert under the top of that stitch, yarn over, and pull that loop through everything to slip stitch the round together. So now we're ready for round 2. We're going to start with an alternative turning chain, and I'll show you how to do that here. And this is going to count as a double crochet stitch, and it's going to eliminate the need to do an actual turning chain. So to do the alternative turning chain, I'm going to insert in the same stitch where I joined the round, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's kind of like working a normal single crochet stitch. And then in this left vertical bar of the piece we just worked, I'm going to insert underneath there from right to left, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's the alternative turning chain. That counts as our first double crochet. So next I'm going to chain 1. And in the same stitch where we worked the alternative turning chain, I'm going to work a double crochet. So that's all in the first single crochet of the previous round. Then the 7 remaining single crochet, I'm going to work a double crochet, then chain 1, and double crochet again in the same stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, in all 7 stitches that remain. So in the next stitch, we're going to double crochet, and then after the stitch, chain 1, and then double crochet. And I'm going to repeat that the rest of the way around. So I've worked a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and all my single crochet going around. So now I'm going to come to the top of my very first stitch of the round, insert in the top right there, and join the round with a slip stitch. For round 3, I'm going to start with another alternative turning chain, so insert the hook in the same spot where I joined, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, insert under the left vertical bar of that stitch we just worked, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's the alternative turning chain, and that's going to count as my first double crochet. Then I am going to chain 3, so 1, 2, and 3. And then find my next double crochet and work a double crochet in the top of it. So the pattern that repeats around is in my next double crochet, I'm going to work a double crochet. Then I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet in my next double crochet. And I've got 6 more times to repeat that. where I double crochet, chain 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet in the next double crochet. And I'm going to work that all the way around. So I finished going around round 3. Last thing we need to do is join with a slip stitch in the top of the first stitch of the round. So now for round 4, we are going to have a repeating pattern. We're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm going to go to my next 2 double crochet that are side by side, and right in between them I'm going to work a slip stitch. So slip stitching in between the 2 double crochet. And then repeat that around. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Go to my next 2 double crochet and slip stitch right between them. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 chain stitches. Go to my next 2 double crochet, slip stitch right between them, and I'll repeat this all the way around. So I just worked my last chain 6 for round 4, and to finish it up, I'm going to slip stitch in between these 2 double crochet right here, and that's going to finish up round 4. Now for round 5, we're going to have a repeating pattern again. We're going to work 7 single crochet stitches in this chain 6 space. So insert, this is my first single crochet, second single crochet, third single crochet stitch, fourth single crochet stitch, my fifth one, sixth one, and seventh. You gotta kind of squish them in there. And then after I have worked my 7 single crochet in that chain space, I'm going to slip stitch down between the double crochet of 2 rows below. So it's like I'm slip stitching in the same spot I did the previous row and just going around the slip stitch from the previous row. So again, repeat this all the way around. In the chain space, so this outer one, not down here, but in the chain 6 chain space, we're going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 single crochet stitches all in that space. And then we're going to go down here and work a slip stitch to tack it down. So those are creating the petals. I'm going to repeat it 6 more times and again end the round by slip stitching between the 2 double crochet. So finishing up round 5 here, I've worked 7 single crochet in my last chain 6 space, and to finish it up, I'm going to slip stitch down here between the 2 stitches to finish up that row. So now our little flower is complete and it's time to work on round 6. So what we need to do is we need to start by working some slip stitches to get to the middle single crochet of our 7 single crochet. So basically we need a slip stitch in the next 4 stitches. So this is my first single crochet from row 5. I'm going to slip stitch right here. That's my first slip stitch. Go to the next stitch, slip stitch there. So that's 2 slip stitches. Go to my next single crochet, work a slip stitch for number 3, and my 4th single crochet, work that 4th slip stitch, and now that gets our hook and our yarn to the very middle of this crochet petal. So now that I'm here, I'm going to work an alternative turning chain in this spot to count as a double crochet. So insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, insert under that left vertical bar, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's the alternative turning chain. That counts as the first double crochet. Next, we need to chain 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we're going to go to the next petal, and at this petal, we're going to find the middle single crochet. So if I count from the sides, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think. So that right there is the middle stitch for me. And if you end up hitting stitch 3 or stitch 5 instead of stitch 4, it should end up working out okay. Just try to aim for the middle stitch. And in that spot, we're going to work a double crochet. So work a double crochet into that spot. So that's going to form one side because we're kind of turning this into a square now. So now we need to make the corner, so we need some more chains. We're going to do 12 chains here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then once more, go to the next petal, find the middle single crochet stitch, and in the middle single crochet stitch, work a double crochet. So that's the corner. Now we're working along the side, so we need to do 8 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go to the next petal, find the middle single crochet, and in that middle single crochet, work a double crochet stitch. Then we do 12 chain stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. So we work a double crochet, chain 8, double crochet, followed by 12 chain stitches. And those double crochet are always worked in the middle of a petal. So let me finish up the round and then I'll show you how we join it. So this is my last chain 12, and to finish it up, I'm going to just slip stitch in the top of the first stitch of the round. So now for round 7, we're basically going to work a double crochet in every stitch of the previous row. So our first double crochet is going to be worked right here, and again we're going to use the alternative turning chain so that we can avoid using actual turning chains, and this will count as our first double crochet. So that's my first double crochet. Then in this 8 chain space, I'm going to work 8 double crochet stitches. So 1, this is 2, and 3, 4, all double crochet, 5, 6, 7, and 8, all in that same chain space. My next stitch is this double crochet, and in the top of that double crochet, I'm going to work a double crochet stitch. Then I've got 12 chain stitches here, so I'm going to work 12 double crochet in this space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, all in the same space. And then we're back to repeating. So we work a double crochet in every double crochet, and however many chain stitches make up a chain space, that's how many double crochet we work in there. I'm going to work this all the way around, and then we'll just slip stitch in the top of the first stitch to join the round, and then I'll show you round 8. So after finishing round 7, we've got this wonky kind of looking square, and now it's time to move on to row 8. So row 8 is going to start with another alternative turning chain, and then we're going to have a repeating pattern most of the way around. So just finishing up the alternative turning chain here. And what I'm going to do the rest of the way around is I'm going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and in the following stitch, work a double crochet. So chain 1, skip the next stitch, and work a double crochet in the following stitch. And I'm going to keep repeating this all the way down the side to the corner. Chain 1, skip a stitch, work a double crochet in the following stitch. So I'm going to keep repeating this to the corner, and then I'll show you how we deal with the corners. So I've been working along this first side, and I said we're going to do this until we get to the corner, but I didn't quite tell you how do we know we're in the corner. So after we do the alternative turning chain, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochet stitches, and then it's time for the corner. Another way to tell that it's time for the corner is I have worked 3 double crochet in stitches in this big 12 double crochet section. So that's my first stitch, worked in a stitch in this big corner section. My second one worked in a stitch in the corner section, and my third one worked in a stitch in the corner section. So that's what tells me that now it's time to create the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this previous row here, and I'm going to count out the first 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this right here is stitch 6, this is stitch 7. So now that we know we want to work between stitch 6 and stitch 7, we do need to do one more chain 1 before we work the 5 double crochet here. So I did my double crochet here, I'm going to chain 1, and now I'm ready to work 5 double crochet between stitch 6 and 7. So I'm not working in the top of a stitch, but I'm just working in between them. So that's double crochet 1, double crochet number 2, double crochet number 3, double crochet number 4, and last of all, double crochet number 5, again working all 5 of these double crochet stitches in between stitches 6 and 7 of this corner here. So now we're going to start working down the side, but we got to get our stitches lined up correctly. So I'm going to start by chaining 1 after working those 5 double crochet. So then this stitch right here is stitch 7, this is stitch 8 of the 12 stitches from the previous round worked in this corner. I'm going to skip both of those. So basically after I work these 5, skip the next 2 stitches, and in the following stitch right here, work a double crochet. And then at this point, we're back to the pattern that we were working on the other side. So we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch, work a double crochet in the following stitch. Chain 1, skip a stitch, work a double crochet in the following stitch, and repeat this all the way down. So I've continued working the chain 1 double crochet down the side here, and I know that I'm ready for the corner because I've worked 10 double crochet after the 5 in the corner, and I also know that because I've worked 3 double crochet in stitches in this big corner space here. So again, the corner, we're going to do the same kind of thing. So now I know I'm ready to work in the corner, but very important, I almost always forget this, make sure to do that chain 1 after the double crochet and before we work the 5 double crochet of the corner. But basically I'm going to skip the next stitch, and after the next stitch, in between that stitch and the following stitch, I'm going to work 5 double crochet. Another way of thinking about it is in the previous round we worked 12 double crochet in this chain. I'm going to go between double crochet 6 and 7 of the previous round. So we're going to go right in that spot and work 12 double crochet between those 2 stitches. This is my first one. This is my second double crochet. My third double crochet, again working all these stitches in the same exact spot. This is my 4th stitch. And lastly, my 5th double crochet, all in the same spot. And that creates the corner. Now it's time to repeat the same process working down. So I'm going to chain 1 after those 5 double crochet, skip the next 2 stitches here, 1, 2, and in the next stitch, double crochet. And then to work down this row, I'm going to do a process of chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet. And I will repeat this all the way around until we get back to where we started. So I'm finishing up round 8 here. I've worked 2 double crochet on the same side where we started. After my second double crochet, chained 1, and now it's time to join with the slip stitch in the top of the first stitch from the round. Just come through there, join with a slip stitch, and that wraps up round 8. So now for round 9, it's going to be very similar, almost identical to round 8. We're going to start with the alternative turning chain stitch. In the same spot where we joined the previous round. And then what I'm going to do is that chain 1, skip a stitch, so in this case it's the chain space, and double crochet in the following stitch. So I'm double crocheting in the next double crochet from the previous round. then again chain 1, skip the next stitch, and then double crochet. So basically I'm chaining 1 and then double crocheting in the next double crochet and skipping all those chain stitches. That's going to help create some of the open lacy weave of the tank top, and it's also going to allow the fabric to drape a little bit more. So chain 1, skip the chain spot, double crochet. And we're going to work this down our side until we get to the corner pretty much. So now we're getting to the corner here, and what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, skip the chain space, and double crochet in the first of those 5 double crochets from the corner, chain 1, then we're going to skip the next stitch, and in the following stitch we're going to work 5 double crochets. So that's the middle double crochet of the corner from last round, and in that spot we're going to work our 5 double crochets for the corner for this round. So that's 1, 2 in the same spot, 3, so again we're all double crochet, a 4th double crochet, all in the same spot, and a 5th one. Then we're going to get back into our pattern. So we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, which in this case is a double crochet, and in the following stitch work a double crochet. And continue on down the side. We'll chain 1, skip a stitch, which now happens to be a chain space, and in the following stitch work a double crochet. Chain 1, skip a stitch, work a double crochet. And then once I get to the corner, I will do the same process. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around, and then we'll join round 9 and I'll show you round 10. So I finished working round 9. I have my last double crochet. I did a chain 1, and again, I'm going to slip stitch in the top of my alternative turning chain to get us ready for round 10. So for round 10, we're going to put a little bit more of a solid round on here. We're going to start though with the alternative turning chain. So same as we've been doing it. And then once we get this stitch done, we're going to work a half double crochet in all the stitches all the way around. So this alternative turning chain, we're going to let it count as our first half double crochet, but then in the following chain spot, I'm going to work a half double crochet. In the following double crochet, I'm going to work a half double crochet. So that's where I yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And I'm going to keep working these half double crochet all the way down the side. So 1 in every stitch. If I can get my yarn to come through here. There we go. So a half double crochet in every chain space and a half double crochet in every double crochet. And then once we get to the corner, I'll show you how we address that. And then we'll just work it all the way around to finish up round 10. So as I get to the corner here, it's actually going to be very simple. I have 5 double crochet stitches that make up the corner, so in the first 2 double crochet stitches, I'm going to work 1 half double crochet in each of those. So a half double crochet in my first stitch. I need to work on my tension here a little bit on the camera. And then in the next stitch, I will work a half double crochet, just 1 in that spot. And now in this third half double crochet, that's the true middle of the corner, so in that spot I'm going to work 3 half double crochet so we have enough stitches to make it around the corner. So that's 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And then I'm going to work down this side. So in every stitch, work a half double crochet. So in this next double crochet, I'm going to work a half double crochet. In the next stitch, a half double crochet. In the chain space, a half double crochet. In the following double crochet, I'm going to work a half double crochet and keep repeating these half double crochets all the way around, and then in the corner space, the middle stitch of the corner, I'm going to work 3 half double crochet. So let me finish up round 10 and then I'll show you round 11. So I've half double crocheted all the way around for round 10, and I'm just going to join the round by slip stitching in the top of the very first stitch. So we're halfway done with our squares. In the next video, I will show you how to crochet rounds 11 through 20, which will finish up the squares. So I'll catch you in that video, and until then, happy crafting.